was hired by one department of the Canadian government to help them deal with mercury contamination at golf courses. Turns out that mercuric pesticides were very effective at preventing the growth of mold on golf greens after the snow is melted. It's called snow mold, and there's other things that can arise. But they used to use mercuric chloride-based pesticides on the greens and tees. Probably the most contaminated recreational property you will ever encounter are golf greens and golf tees. And they very heavily contaminated with mercury if they've been around for any length of time. And there are a number of Canadian national parks. Banff is one. It's probably the most famous, the Banff Springs Golf Course, or the Banff Springs Hotel with the golf course nearby. It's been around for decades, or probably, I don't know the exact age, probably 50 or more years. And the soils underlying the golf greens and golf tees turned out to be so contaminated, it was classifiable as hazardous waste. And they wanted to redesign the golf course, but they couldn't get rid of this contaminated soil. The soil is so contaminated at these golf courses that the grass has 100 parts per million of mercury in it, or at least the data that was present at the time I was doing this risk assessment. And, we weren't so much worried about people walking over the grass, but there was major concerns for things like elk and rabbits and other wildlife that happened to graze on those at the dusk and dawn periods, because the exposure to mercury would be quite sizable. And that was a very, very interesting project. They ended up redesigning this golf course, and all of the contaminated materials became the new berms that they used to sort of landscape and add contour to these things. And they're all marked on maps. And if they're ever to be removed, they have to know where it goes, or it has to go to a hazardous waste facility.